On a night that was meant to celebrate success, it all unraveled into tragedy. King Von, a rising star from Chicago's notorious O Block, met a fate no one could have predicted. What started as a club appearance ended in a fatal confrontation, captured now in newly released bodycam footage. Today, we break down the full timeline, the aftermath, the legal fallout, and the deep scars left behind in the hip-hop community. The viral bodycam footage starts in chaos. Sirens echo in the background. Officers are shouting, people are running, and in the middle of it all, a wounded King Von lies on the ground, still breathing. Officers are seen telling people to move, to get out of cars, and to clear the scene. The urgency in their voices tells the story without words. This isn't a drill. The aftermath of a shootout had just unfolded outside the Monaco Lounge in Atlanta, and law enforcement was scrambling to get control. The footage doesn't just show police procedure, it shows the reality. Confusion, panic, blood. It shows what the headlines couldn't. This wasn't just another rapper shot. This was a man fighting for his life, surrounded by chaos, surrounded by people who loved him and enemies who didn't care. According to close friends and family, Von didn't die right away. He was rushed to the hospital, conscious and talking. In fact, after undergoing 2 major surgeries, reports say Von woke up and began yelling, demanding his gun. His sister Kayla B said he fought the nurse. The pain, the trauma, the adrenaline, it all surged, but his body couldn't take it anymore. In that final outburst, the spirit of a warrior fighting to survive, Von went into shock. He died shortly after. This wasn't just a physical battle, it was mental, emotional. Imagine waking up, blood in your veins boiling, heart racing, asking for the only thing that's ever made you feel safe, and then fading into the dark. November 5th, 2020, Von and his team were in Atlanta. The night was supposed to be legendary, a release party to mark the beginning of a new chapter. He had just dropped new music, and the vibes were strong. 20 cars deep, dozens of trusted people around him. Von didn't move like most rappers. He had security, bulletproof vehicles, and loyal friends. After the party, most of Von's team was headed back to their Airbnbs. That was the plan. Except Von had a different one. Quietly, without alerting the rest of his crew, he told his driver to head to the Monaco Lounge, where rival rapper Quando Rondo had reportedly been spotted. This wasn't a publicity stunt. This wasn't for clout. This was personal. His DJ and others started calling, confused. Yo, where y'all at? They didn't know Von had made a move. By the time they figured it out, they were racing to the club, hoping it wasn't too late. And it was already too late. Von sat in the car for nearly 30 minutes once he arrived at Monaco. That wasn't normal. He wasn't his usual self, usually lively, charismatic. Now, he was quiet, focused. Something was off. Then a member of his team came to the car. Hey, Quando and them are outside. And that's all it took. Von shot up out the car like he was possessed. He walked straight up to Quando's vehicle and began swinging. No talking, no build-up, just fists flying. King Von, street legend, rapper, leader, threw the first punch, and he didn't stop, but then the shots rang out. As Von was overpowering Quando Rondo, a man stepped from behind the SUV, Lil Tim. He raised his gun and opened fire. Von was hit multiple times. Instantly, members of Von's crew pulled out their firearms and returned shots. The parking lot became a war zone. Screams, glass shattering, shell casings hitting the pavement, and then sirens. Off-duty officers who heard the gunfire arrived and added to the gunfight, taking out more of Von's people. Nobody knew who was who. Everyone was a threat. Meanwhile, Von lay on the pavement, and the one person beside him, Quando Rondo. Rumors flew. Was he trying to rob Von's chain? Or was Von actually holding him in place, shielding himself from more bullets? Von's manager said it clearly. Von was holding on because he didn't want to die alone. A crew member named Moo sprinted to Von, picked him up, and placed him in a getaway car. Even after taking 4 bullets, Von remained calm. He looked his brothers in the eye and said, "I'll be all right. Just get me to the hospital." He was the one keeping them calm. That's how much of a leader Von was. Shot, bleeding, still trying to bring peace to his people. They believed he'd make it. The way he spoke, the confidence, the focus, no one thought this was the end. But fate had other plans. Lil Tim was arrested, charged with the murder of King Von. But in court, his lawyers argued self-defense, and the charges were dismissed before he was ever indicted. Some say justice was never served, others say the law did its job. But one thing's for sure, the streets didn't forget. Not long after, retaliation came knocking. Months after Von's death, Quando's crew was ambushed at a gas station in LA. Von's best friend Lil Pav was shot and killed in the hit. Security cameras captured Quando screaming in pain, breaking down emotionally in the street. That image went viral, and it hit hard. Now the feds are watching. Lyrics from Lil Durk are being dissected in court. Prosecutors believe Durk ordered the hit on Quando's crew, using lyrics like, "You can believe whatever you want. I got your folks hit." Today, O Block isn't the same. The community that once stood tall behind King Von now walks with shadows behind them. Murals of Von attract danger. Ops still pull up, still shoot, still chase clout. Quando Rondo says he wants peace now, but peace feels distant. Von wasn't just another rapper. He was a symbol, a fighter, a leader, a product of pain turned into poetry. And even though he made it out the trenches never left him. And in the end, it wasn't fame or fortune that took him. It was the very war he tried to outrun, catching up with him one last time. This was the rise and fall of King Von.